One more fast-moving industry during this pandemic is personal soap and cleaning. What stocks should you consider investing in right now? The next story is about another industry that's on the rise, and it's called the personal soap cleaning industry. Out of a list of 221 industries, it is number 30. And it's got an RT delta going up on RT in the last 2 weeks, up 12%. So, number 30 out of 221, that's huge. That's big. And you know something? The stock that's in the story also makes sense. Is Clorox outperforming other consumer staple stocks this year? That's a good question. I personally own Clorox. I've had it for the last month or so. I'm up about 30% on Clorox. Think about Clorox and what's going on with the pandemic. People are using a lot of Clorox to clean a lot of things. Joey is the guy here that makes sure that bring that over here. Make sure that everywhere in this place that we've got hand sanitizer. Why does it look, because it's green. All right, I'm like, yeah, so we got hand sanitizer, Dermagel. All right, we got this all over the place. I got my mask, Joey's got his mask, but Clorox is what's big out there, all right? So the story talks about Clorox is one of 172 individual stocks in the consumer staples sector. All right, so it's in consumer staples, but I'm looking at it in another industry called personal soap cleaning. All right, collectively, these companies sit at number 6 in Zacks sector rank. And remember, I told you in VectorVest, it sits as number 30 is an industry out of the 221 industries. Zacks rank emphasizes earnings estimates, blah, blah, blah. So this is what Zacks says. Blah, 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 blah. Let's go look at what VectorVest says about Clorox. Let's go back to my watch list. Now, I've got 2 stocks in this space. I have Clorox and I have Church & Dwight. These are the 2 stocks that I've chosen for this industry, but Clorox is the one that had this news, right? Currently, it's trading at $227, where its value is $117. The stock is clearly over its value. That means people are willing to pay a premium to own the stock, which makes sense. Clorox is a mover, right? Let's go look at Church & Dwight, also in that space. Clearly, $83 it's trading at with a $63 value. The stock is $20 over its value, but because it's in that space, people are willing to pay a premium to own it. Let's go look at the 2 again. How about Church & Dwight, though, has a relative value upside potential at 1.03, where Clorox is only at 0.79. So from the purposes of probably holding it long term, I would like Church & Dwight. Relative safety. Both of these companies consistently and predictably meet their earnings expectations. They're consumer staples. All right, they're consumer staples. They consistently meet or exceed their earnings, and both of them, because of the pandemic, are definitely in uptrends right now with RTs both above the value of 1. Notice that Church & Dwight grows their earnings at a clip of 10% a year with an earnings per share of $2.78. Whereas Clorox, well, it's because there's a little bit more money. They have an earnings of $6.68. They only grow their earnings at a clip of 4% a year. So Church & Dwight looks to be the better play, even though Clorox is the one that made the news. Now that they're both highlighted, they both are buy recommendations. Let's take a look at their graphs. Let's make a decision. So if I look at Church & Dwight, which is in the personal soap cleaning, put it on a 3-month graph. Love that equity curve. All right, not a lot of volatility, a couple of pullbacks. The 3 and the 8 would have gotten you out, but look at this here. Look at that pullback and look at the 3 and the 8 holding, keeping you in the stock. Nicely moving higher, good above average volume a lot of the way, RT above 1. I like CHD. Go look at Clorox. I like Clorox. Now, the difference between the 2, Clorox is pulling off of its high for 3 days, but look at the 3 and the 8. If I own Clorox, look at the 3 and the 8 as a way to trade it. I'm okay. And if I'm looking in and I'm in it, if the 3E8 cross on a downside on an end of day basis, that's a good opportunity to take the buy profit. And remember, I said I own it. When the 3 and the 8 cross on an end of day basis, I will get out and keep my profit. But until that happens, I'm going to hold the stock. Now, Clorox is pulling off 3 days off of its high, whereas Church and Dwight just hit a new 3-month high yesterday. So from the standpoint of buying now, CHD looks like a better buy, but I'm not going to discount Clorox at all. Both of these are in the same group. These are both good stocks to look at. All right, and those could be 2 good pandemic stocks to keep in mind. Not bad. Number 3 and 4 in my list, sorted by VST. Like that industry. And again, it's an industry that you may not know is rocking and rolling. It's number 30 out of 221 industries. 2 stocks to keep your eyes on. All right. Joey, we have any questions?
How are you searching for these rising industries in VV7?
Question is, how am I searching for these rising industries in VV7? Let's go to the Unisearch tool. Within the Unisearch tool, everyone has access to something called Delta Searches Industries right here. And, you know, anybody can do a 10-day price delta on industries. But I'm using the VectorVest software, so I'm going to use that indicator, 10-day RT delta. You can't do that anyplace else. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at a percentage change, the biggest change in relative timing over the last 10 days. If I run the search as of right now, what industry has moved up the most by relative timing, which is the short-term price trend? Remember I told you about media movies? Well, the time that I ran this, it was number 160 as industry. It's now 151. Now number 142. Folks, this is why looking at the VectorVest software is so important. When I ran it, it was even lower than what it is right now. What else did I find? What was the other one? Utility electric. Where's that at? Wow, that started moving down the list. 10. Did I miss it? It might have moved down the list a little bit. And the personal soap. Not here either. But media movies is rocking. Now, if I look at more than 20, let's go to 40. If I go and look at more than 20, and here's the percentages over the last week, last 10 days. Media movies up 22% by RT delta. Let's go find, man, did these other ones, retail, department stores, apparel, insurance, petroleum. Here's utilities, electric. When I looked at it, it was up 14%, and it was at industry number 148. It's still at 144. It's even still getting better. And that's utilities. Where's the last one? Was personal soap. I'd probably have to still keep looking. But the whole idea is finding the industries that are on the rise by that 10-day RT delta. That's the way that I find them. And then I went through and see what stocks were, that had news. And that's how I got those 3 industries. Media, movies, utilities, electric, personal soap. And keep in mind, folks, we have 221 industries. This is a great way to find what's moving and shaking as far as industries are concerned. Folks, you can't do this anyplace else. You cannot use that RT indicator anyplace else. Any other questions, Joey?
What layout graph are you using?
The question is, what layout graph am I using? I've created my own, all right, where I'm looking at price. I'm looking at the 3 and the 8. I'm looking at RT. I'm looking at support resistance. I'm looking at volume. And I'm looking at a moving average of volume. I've created this to make life easy for me and to help to explain what I'm looking for on a graph. All right, so that we can do that. And once you put these things on, like support and resistance, the 3 and the 8, RT, volume, and moving average of volume, go over to graph layouts, save the layout. And I have this as a layout called Twitch. All right, that's where we used to do this before we came on to YouTube. And I've saved that layout, so now anytime I want to get to that layout, it's right there. All right. Any other questions, Joey?
What does the wick signify on the chart?
What does the wick signify in the chart? On the chart, an upper wick, the top of the wick shows me the high for the day. The bottom wick shows me the low of the day. The candle body shows me where it's trading in respect to the high and the low of the day. So when I look at a candle like this with a little wick, that means that the stock's price for the day is trading towards the high of the day. Whereas if I look at a wick here, this price is trading a lot lower than the high for the day, which gives me a little bit of a bearish feel because the bears pushed the stock's price lower. Whereas here, this is more of a bullish feel because the bulls pushed the stock price higher, even though it's a doji. And look at the follow through the next day. All right. So with today's activity, yes, on Church and Dwight, I've got a lot of bullish play here, more bullish play than bearish play because of the big wick at the bottom. One more question.
Tom Wasser, Glenn, what is the volume MA?
What is the moving average of the volume? I'm looking at a 20-period EMA. If you put your mouse on it, there it is. It says EMA 20. I'm looking at a 20 simple moving average of volume. A 20 simple period of volume.